hand action. And everything just looks so easy and effortless for JJ Basson. But it's not nice to face, because the moment you think you've aligned yourself with the ball, it's actually higher than where you think. So cutting, pulling, and even driving the ball becomes a really hard thing against him. And it becomes even harder when he's on song. You see, it's just a little bit uncomfortable, but he dealt with it well there, Havansh Singh. Moving to 39. And so Aris Ambrish has worked himself up to a 46. Will be an extremely well-earned half-century, because these gentlemen were in single digits after facing 20-odd deliveries. And look at where they are now. It's the patience paying off.
It's been a very good over. The last two deliveries slightly slower. This one a slower bouncer, with his fingers rolling over the ball and just digging it into the pitch. So very well played. He knows that the batsmen are out there now looking for those, looking to just up the pace. And that's why Bulbulia made the change, brought his key bowler on. And so far it was a decision that has certainly paid off, in that they've kept the runs down at a period where the two batsmen now, who are so well set, are looking to up the pace. And as you said, Ambrish has played really well. Both of them, as you mentioned, they consolidated the fact that they were at 67 for 4. They consolidated very nicely. And now with a partnership at 86, we'll be looking to, in fact, push through and see if they can bat the full 50 overs to give India a score of more than respectability. They're scoring at 4.6 and over. If they can get it to about 6 runs and over, that will be ideal. So Sony brought back into the attack the impressive right-arm seamer.
Now it becomes a question of managing your bowlers for Mohamed Bulbulia. He normally co-captains the team with Jason Rolls, and they bounce off each other. One playing at the Lions, one playing down in Pietermaritzburg for the Tuskers. And Dandoyenko Sisoni has 5 overs remaining. Jason Rolls has 5 overs remaining. And your 3 key bowlers who've been taking the wickets and being economical in JJ Basson, Majola and Bata, they all have 3 overs remaining. That's a nice hit. That's going to go over the top. That's the shorter side of the boundary. Over Adnan Lakhadin's head. A beautiful shot from Havansh Singh. Goes over for 6, over the square leg.
Yeah, the previous delivery was a very clever one from Sony. You can see that the South African bowlers are purposely now looking to just dig it into the pitch to try to get those slower bounces going. But this was beautifully picked up. He got in line, a slight shimmy down the pitch, but he got perfect and full connection on that for a big hit. That's a beautiful side-on angle as to how, in fact, he completed that stroke.
Consolidates the boundary well. Smart batting from Havansh Singh Pangalia. Moves to 47. If that ball was hit on the bigger side of the boundary, that was definitely not going to carry over. It was a big hit. Adnan Lakhadin was there. He thought he was in the picture, just seeing the ball over. But imagine if it was on the other side of the boundary, that side that we're seeing. That was not going to carry. But it's a calculated shot from Ambrish. Man moves to 47 now. They're batting really well, and they're just bouncing off each other so beautifully. They move their partnership to 94.
Sony has responded very nicely after being hit for 6. on a much better length, keeping it straight, forcing the batsman to make the play, which is exactly what you want to do. And if they are looking to exploit the short ball, then it should be from the commentary end.
Well guided. Hard work from Jason Rolls.
So we are speaking from the town end here at the Willowmore Park. And Sony is running in from the eastern end of the ground, if I could describe it that way, for those that do know this ground well. It used to be the chalet end in the old days until they removed the chalets. And the Ekurhuleni end, which is the town end, where we're speaking from. Now we're watching him come towards us. Very, very good delivery. Again, that length is what had Singh really all at sea there. He certainly deserved a wicket, having come back so nicely and produced 4 wonderful deliveries. That's gone through everything. It's cut through everything. It's beaten him all ends up. So he's finished that on a high, and he needs to continue in that vein in the short spell that is going to be given by the captain, because he's certainly got the batsman thinking. And that's what you want, in especially the comeback spell. Because generally what we tend to see is, especially among young bowlers, when they do come back for the second and maybe even the third spells, that they're almost at half the pace and maybe even not bowling with the same kind of intensity, the concentration. So that was really good to see from Sony. So Jory van Schalkwyk has the ball in hand. So spin again from the Ekurhuleni end.
South Africa not bringing their frontline spinners, remember? Daniel Bosman and Enati Kichini not in this match. So using the part-time of Jorik van Schalkwyk, the opening batter for South Africa. Can control it well with his right arm off spin. He's going to need to try and develop something here because these two are on song.
Starts with a low full toss. So if he can get a bit of purchase, which we didn't see for Jason Rolls, a bit of turn. Again, he starts leg side-ish. Batsman did get a bit of bat to that, so the umpire will allow that to... No, in fact, it was a wide, so no touch. So a full toss and a wide down the leg side. Jory van Schalkwyk will just have to take his time, be patient, make sure he just pitches it on that off-stump line. That's exactly where the captain wants it. He's got a fortified offside field. 3 men in the inner ring, saving 1 long off and a deep cover point.
And he just needs to keep these overs ticking without much damage happening. And so often, it's your part-time bowler that comes in and gets the golden arm to break through. And Jorik van Schalkwyk doing what I had hoped to see from Jason Rolls, coming on this side of the wicket. Well, he's spinning the ball away from the left hand, and so the patch that he could use is too wide off the stumps, not really a threat for him. But pitching the ball needs to be something that gets done. It's another white ball from Jorik.
Well, bowling to 2 left-handers, the first thing he should be doing is looking to pitch it on a decent length to see if he's going to get any assistance at all off the surface. That's much better. They're looking for 2 because this is a deep set field, and in the end, very well taken. Well judged 2 runs. The partnership now on 99. In fact, it's gone to 101. So a vital partnership here for the India under-19 team for the 5th wicket. And both of them on the brink of half centuries. That's a deliberate edge. No turn really. Ball very straight. and he'll pick up a well-deserved 50. Havansh Singh, he's played attractively, and he's increased his strike rate as well, 51 of 59.
Really played well, Havansh Singh Pangalia. He's picked up that strike rate very handsomely. He was once on double single digits after facing 20-odd deliveries. And that's what you need. You need heart. Get yourself back into the game. They've really worked India back with this 103-run partnership. And the quick single closes the over off for Jorik van Schalkwyk. It's very important not to be overly critical of Jorik. Not really what he does. So he goes away for 10 runs. But he's going to need to find ways to pitch that delivery. It's 171 for 4.
"15 overs remain. The two batsmen in conversation. They've done the hard yards. They've done the hard work. Now can they push things on for India? Importantly, they've now also, this partnership has taken that run rate from 4.4. It was hovering around there for a long time. It's now just under 5, and they clearly will be intent on now picking it up to at least 6 runs and over and giving India a good score. Can they, in fact, take it to 280?
It's going to be a lot of hard work now for the bowlers. New law change. There's only one ball in operation now until the end of the match. So umpire shares at the end of the previous over, chuck it out of the match. And so both ends will now share this ball. Just remember, 2 balls being used up until over number 34. So they both get 17 overs of life. And then the fielding captain gets to choose the one ball that they're going to take up until over number 50. That's the ball that's currently in Dandosoni's hands.
So then the batsmen find it so much more difficult to time the ball off the surface.
And Sony is well equipped to use that ball. In that match where he got his best 6 for 65 against Bangladesh, he had started very poorly. Had started real poorly. But then his last 3 overs saw an absolute magnificent spell from Ntandosoni. Controlling the run rate, getting wickets. Bangladesh were trying to accelerate. They just couldn't because he was rapturing that ball batting order. So these are his times, Ntandosoni, to be a little bit effective. It's up into the air. Mohamed Bulbulia, he's going to try to get out to it. The spin is going to push the ball closer to the boundary. But the most important thing here for R.S. Ambrish, after hard toil and this great partnership, he gets to his half-century, taking him 69 deliveries. What a great effort here from both these gentlemen. Should be happy to start this series in such a manner.
Well, first of all, congratulations to him because he's really played well. The one perhaps false shot was the one that's taken him to 50. We'll have another look at that. And why I want to raise this point is that it's Sony that's really bowled well. He's mixed it up so nicely, and he forced the batsman to make the play there. And I don't think that's where he intended to play the stroke.
He's in real good control here, Sony. But the issue is the batters are equally putting up a fight. Have already extracted 4 runs from his over. But you saw with that ball that he hit up into the air, Ambrish getting into his 50, the ball never got to him. He tried as much as he can to generate that power. Now imagine how worse it will be 10 overs from now when the ball is much more softer, like you alluded to, Aslam. There's going to be nothing for the batters to work with. So it's a last ball here for Sony. And that's that extra bounce. His balls have a little bit of weight behind them as well, Dandosoni. It's bowling well after 36. 176 for 4.
Now, this has been a very classy partnership. 109 now. The two have batted beautifully. Very professional in the way they went about handling the South African attack. And I don't remember them giving a chance in the time that they've played.
It has 5 overs remaining. It has 5 overs remaining. I would have thought this is the time to use Jason. See if he can bowl it out. Have a change in commentary as well. David Midgley comes in for Starslam Quetta.
Yeah, good to be back with you, Mpendula. It's been a drought of wickets here for South Africa, eh? Contrary to that brilliant bit of fielding there by Mohamed Bulbulia. Full credit to him there. On the other side of it, it's been a masterclass in partnership building from these two batters. It's really been enjoyable to watch.
The thing is, it was 2 wickets falling in a space of about 5 deliveries. Abhigyan Kundu was starting to look threatening alongside Vedant Trivedi. They were partnership at that time with 33 runs. And after those 2 quick wickets, man, it was so slow. But this is the India under-19 team that we know they just can bat anywhere in the order. They are such a problematic side. Such a problematic side indeed. Paul James has no chance at long off. Stunning shots from Ambrish. Goes for 4.
Yeah, the tag of part-timer for Jorik van Schalkwyk is shining a little bit brightly here. A little bit expensive. Overpitched it and spanked away. And there was no real opportunity for it to be picked up by Paul James.
Really saw Bandile Mbata grab a wicket in that fashion. But Jorik van Schalkwyk goes for 7 runs in his over. This was a very classy shot. Wonderful footwork from Ambrish. Creates the width. Slaps that through the covers. And it wasn't a long distance for Paul James to cover, David. But it was such a blitz of a stroke. 183 for 4 after 37.
Havansh Singh is in such good form at the moment, and you can see where it is that his fruits are tasting so sweet from the hard work. He scored 117, from 143, including 6 sixes versus Australia in the second youth test. He then went also scored 103 from 52, 9 sixes versus England under 19. And he is just somebody who is loving time with bat in hand. There's a bit of a hold up in play here as the physio does some treatment. I suspect it looks like a bit of cramp maybe befalling one of the Indian batters. But it has been a brilliant effort with bat in hand. Really enjoyable to watch from our viewpoint.
Strange that Havansh Singh didn't play more games in the Asia Cup. He only played that 1 game versus Malaysia. And the reason why I'm pondering is you can see for yourself, 56 from 66 deliveries. Alongside Ares Ambrish was on 56 from 73. And I know a lot of discourse coming from the Indian fandom is heavily on strike rates when we're speaking of the white ball game. And especially if you're going to have the likes of Vaibhav Suryavanshi, who strikes the ball at 150. And the main Indian team, Rohit Sharma, being the main guy at the top of the order, who also strikes at over 100 runs. You look at that from Havansh Singh and Ambrish, and you're like, this is not good enough. Surely we can get someone who can score 56 from 30, 56 from 40. But then from the circumstances they found themselves in, this is the exact type of innings you want your middle order to play after being 66 for 4 in just 15 overs.
Just having a look at that weather over our commentary box, it looks quite ominous. There is no clear indication that there will be rain this afternoon. Our viewpoint, is you'll see when the camera switches again, is one that looks much brighter, but it does look quite grim over our heads here. Clouds are hanging ominously above us, but we've been spoiled with brilliant weather up until this point. 183 for 4. There was a small indication when looking at the weather forecast for today that there might be a bit of an interruption at around 1 o'clock. And so for once, the weather forecast might be correct.
Hoping that it's not, so we can see more of Bandile Mbatha. These are his times. Great stop from Jason Rolls. That's an excellent stop from Rolls. He rolls with it. That time it was intentional.
The South Africans have had mixed outcomes with their ground fielding today. They've dropped a catch or two, knocked on a few deliveries, but that was just something special from Jason Rolls.
Up into the air. Paul James is running under it. Mohamed Bulbulia is running under it. It's going to slap in the middle of them. And it's the second time again we've seen that ball hang up into the air and no one there to catch it.
I wonder if we managed to pick that one up. The throw, off balance, one hand collection. Boy, oh boy, was it something special. And the throw was accurate as well, straight. Meaning they considered a second and won't get it. This one going out into the deep for a single.
Bandile Mbatha, these are his times.
వారి స్వర్ణ సంక్రాంతి బంగారు ఆభరణాల వెలుగుపై 20% తగ్గింపు మరియు వజ్రాలు అన్కట్ వజ్రాల వెలుగుపై 25% వరకు తగ్గింపు పొందండి. జిఆర్పి జ్యువెలర్స్ శుభారంభానికి ప్రారంభం.
The fielding to be good right now to intensify that pressure. It's going to be a chase for Adnan Lakhadin. Does he put in a dive? He can't. A false stroke, but it still runs for 4 for Havansh Singh.
The timing of that stroke is something to truly behold. He goes to 61 with that stroke, but just having a look at this one. Yorker length delivery, and he squeezes it away effortlessly, pierces the gap, and with surgeon's precision, picks up a boundary.
You can see it's going to put in a lot more variations in it. And the most important thing also is that even though you're going to throw those variations as Mbatha, you still need to hit the surface hard. You still need to hit the deck hard. You still have to bowl the ball in the correct areas. And even though that ball did go for 4, he bowled it correctly. It was right into the block hole, but it was well dealt with by Havansh Singh. Mustn't be deterred. It's a little bit too short. The width is a match. Arman Manak is going to stop it. It's a long side of the boundary. And they'll finish for 2 to end the over. 191 for 4. There are 12 more remaining.
Very spoiled with medium pace bowlers. Not only the players, but umpires as well. Tokozisi Shezi applied his trade for the Dolphins. Got a call up to the national side. Left arm medium pacer. Good control with ball in hand. The man on your screen right now. And like a few others, has transitioned into umpiring. Honor Jacobs is the other name that comes across, who in the last throes of their career decided now's the time to join the umpiring ranks.
Full toss, well stopped from Jason Rolls. It was very awkward. It bounced on the square. Looks a little bit injured, but have to be hard. It's a game of cricket. The ball is not soft.
Yeah, a lot of these boys will play rugby at school in the off season, and so he'll maybe be a little bit winded as the ricochet came off of the surface.
You speak of umpire Mthokozisi Shezi. Fun fact, we actually come from the same township club, Masibe Munye Cricket Club down in Pietermaritzburg. He gave me my first set of cricket boots, Mthokozisi Shezi. They have a hole on his left boot because he's left-handed. But that has been smashed by R.S. Ambrish. Again, he opens up that leg side to just make sure that he has more width. And he smashes it through the covers again. Another 4 runs.
Confident stroke. There's no hole in that bat, I can assure you. Van Schalkwyk comes very wide of the crease and gives himself some room as well. That was hammered away through the covers. The poor teammates of his were diving for safety there.
I'm not going to lie, David. I said it when he finished his previous over. If this is why they bowling him, I don't understand why not using Jason Rolls. It's going to be an overthrow. JJ Passon is at long on. It's going to be kept to 1. But he's given away the same amount of runs as Jason Rolls in his 5 overs, Jason. And I think that if they were looking to do this with Jorik, you might as well just bowl Jason Rolls out as your mainline spinner because it's a little bit expensive. A little bit expensive. Might it pay the price? Ooh, Bandile Mbata with a great effort. That was a monstrous effort from Mbata. But he ricochets the ball ahead of him and it goes over for 4. It's 200 runs up for India.
200 in explosive style. He switch hits that one over the head of Mbata, who's backtracking there, desperately wanted to get to that one. It's always difficult when you're running back with the ball over your shoulder. Puts in the dive, gets the hands to it, and it's just popped out. It popped out before he landed, and so just didn't quite have the position he needed.
That was mightily difficult. Mightily difficult. But even Havansh Singh noticed that this is the guy to take on. And what a stroke. That's a very hard catch. The fact that he even made it to the ball is amazing enough for Bandile Mbata. Sensational work.
It's not always easy when you're out there trying to take those types of catches. Even more so when you have bowled 8 overs during the course of the day. So now with his final 2 overs available to him, one suspects he may look to make an impact and get a wicket that he's been toiling away for all day.
Deserves it with the way that he's been bowling after his first over. Shot! Runs through. It was in the air for a bit. Lunging dive from Jorik van Schalkwyk. It's going to be 2 runs.
Bit of heart-in-mouth moment there for Ambrish. Just pushed hard at that one. Didn't quite have the pace that he would have wanted off the bat and hung in the air. And it enticed Jorik van Schalkwyk. Not able to get his mitts around that one. And so it's a 2 to begin the over.
He actually takes a couple of steps back, Jorik. Not needed because it goes straight into the hands of Adnan Lakhaddin on the leg side. Bandile Mbata, who has been toiling, finally gets the breakthrough he deserves. And R.S. Ambrish, looking to up the ante, falls by the hand of the all-rounder. It is wicket number 5 that goes down for India.
What a prolific partnership for these two. 137. And South Africa finally have a breakthrough. They've toiled away. And none more so than Bandile Mbata. Just rewards for him in ensuring that he gets the reward. Finally it comes his way. And a tidy innings comes to an end. 204 for 5.
The pain will not end, not as yet for South Africa. The most all-rounder of all-rounders for the Indian team, Kanishk Chauhan. He comes in. He's a very handy spin bowler. Just as handy with the bat, Kanishk. Comes in with a decent platform that has been set. From here, India can even fancy the idea of a 280 to 300 if Havansh Singh can get going. And even if Kanishk Chauhan gets going, we wouldn't have ever thought that this would be what it is.
Kanishk Chauhan, coming from Shah Satnam G Boys College in Sirsa in Haryana, took 8 wickets and scored 114 runs rather in the 5 youth ODIs against England. And he's been a very good performer in the Venu Mankad Trophy. So an opportunity here with a bit of a platform for him to get a quick fire 40 or 50. And maybe get the strike rate that the fans are calling for.
Going to work hard to make that happen. But at least he can work himself into a good rhythm by just passing the strike back to Havansh Singh. Work the ones, work the twos. And now you're trying to wonder how Havansh Singh is going to process this, because the last thing you want is for him to lose his wicket right now or in the next couple of 2 to 3 overs. So maybe see off the end of Bandile Mbata here. Because Mbata still bowls well.
Wild swipe there by Singh. And he's upset with himself, and rightfully he should be. It was a flat-footed stroke. He just almost just threw his bat at it. He's been batting so well up until this point. And, you know, when you lose your partner, it can very quickly put pressure on you to try and move things along at this stage of the innings.
I think this is wise for the next 3 overs. Up until around over number 42, just restart again. Go again at your 4 runs to the over. This time you can't afford to be bogged down into a corner. When Singh and Ambrish started their partnership, they had to go into a corner. They had to protect their wickets with their lives. But here, you don't have enough time to necessarily do that. So if they give themselves around 3 overs to just work these 1s and 2s, just like this, they'll be in good standing. But it's the end of over number 40. India, 207 for 5. Bandile Mbata getting the breakthrough.
As more and more viewers join us, we are absolutely privileged to have you with us as we head into the final 10 overs of this Indian innings of the Youth ODI series here at Willamore Park in Benoni. Just have a look at that. South Africa won the toss, decided they will have a bowl. Aaron George gone for 5 early as Bahana Majola got the wicket. Van Schalkwyk with a good catch. And then a couple of 3 starts rather. Suryavanshi, big wicket falling to JJ Basson. Starts for Trivedi and Kundu. And in deep trouble at 67 for 4. India have pulled things back.
Paul James comes back into the attack. And I think even this would have been a better option in the previous over. You've seen Bandile Mbata. He's doing well with his medium pacers. Bring another medium pacer. Right now, you must put your ego aside. It's not about trying to get the wickets. It's about limiting the scoring from the Indian team. And so your off-cutters, your wide yorkers, those ugly, industrial, hard-working deliveries, those are the balls you need now. And let India make the mistake for themselves.
Change of action for Paul James, trying to work in on the angle. There's a short, fine leg in place and a deep backward square. This is all too easy for India under 19. just to really drop it and go. It seems effortless, really.
I also think at this point in time, South Africa would rather that than a bludgeoning of the ball that sends it all around the ground. It's scoring limitation. If you can allow 4 of those and no boundary, you have yourself a good stead. If you can even allow 5 of those without a boundary, you're in good stead. And so here are those wide deliveries. They are going to be stopped down in the deep.
Surely there's something to be said about a new batter coming to the crease, not really giving him 1s and 2s, squeeze him a little bit more? Or do you just say the stage of the game dictates that we are happy with 1s, as you said, rather than boundaries?
Oi! Ball just needed to be a little bit closer to those stumps, and that off stump would have cartwheeled. Very close from Paul James. But it still remains 5 wicket down. I think my thought process with a new batter coming in is always to attack. To always put them under pressure. All the time. And I think it would have worked well here as well for South Africa. Now that he's going to be in strike, you put him under pressure. Look, he's on 4 from 4. It is a little bit easy, David. And so if you do apply that pressure just on him, keep him on strike. It's going to even put Havansh Singh on the other side a little bit under pressure to say, hey, when I come on to strike, I actually need to get the ball rolling. Maybe if he was on 4 from 12 deliveries, you just need to apply it a little bit more.
Well, even more so because of the type of bowler that you have. Paul James, not express pace, and so as a result, if he's going to look to hit over the top or look to attack, because we end 41 overs, 2-1-2 for 5, if he's going to look to attack a medium pacer, use that to your favor. And so the variation of delivery, slower balls, cutters, and so on, he then plays a stroke trying to force the issue, mistimes it, and an opportunity could present itself for a catch.
We've seen a couple of balls getting mistimed, actually, from Ares, Ambrish, and even Havansh Singh Pangalia. Whilst they were making their ways to their respective 50s, we saw some false strokes from Bandile Mbata's bowling. Seems to get the ball to just be slower than the others, gets grip off the surface. And so if he does bowl what you're saying, have have a short cover in there, put in your mid-wicket a little bit closer, apply that pressure. But right now it's a little bit too open, it's a little bit too easy. Long chase from Amar Manak. It's going to be 2 runs. They turn it into 3. It is way too easy.
And this is where the game could be tipped back into the favor of South Africa. Yes, 215, you would say at this point in a one-day game is not where you want it to be. The question that may be asked of the South African batters is particularly around some of those darker patches, not necessarily where he is standing, but rather, in and around the batter's arc. Because it's very different as a batter facing medium pacers versus skilled spinners that are able to use their skill to help bamboozle you as a batter in conditions that maybe traditionally wouldn't favor, but an opportunity could present itself here batting second.
But they need to limit that score. They need to try and keep it to around 260 from here. There's that short cover idea I'm speaking about. Ball popped up into the air. Short cover is in the game there, but ball's going to just run for a single. And so they need to limit it to around 260. It's not going to be easy, but if they do get the wicket of Havansh Singh, I feel like that might happen, and South Africa are in the game if they need to chase a score less than 280. Inside edge. It's going to miss the stumps. Patamohlaga is not going to be able to retrieve it. Nor will JJ Passon. It's going to go for 4. Fortuitous, but it keeps the score ticking.
It's frustrating as a bowler when that kind of thing does happen. Just get it right, and then the inside edge doesn't go onto the stumps. Valiant attempt by Patamohlaga. He was never going to get it. Just wrong-footed by the delivery there. And, welcome boundary, and the misery piles on.
Can't really set a field for that boundary. I was just looking at the field, and you get a sense that South Africa are happy with giving away 1s and 2s. They are. But you must budget for things like that to happen. It's already 10 runs in the over. I don't know if our producers are teasing the idea of Ntando Sone, but it wouldn't be a bad one. Because this is a little bit too easy. They could have come back for 2, but not against Jorik, the way he's been fielding. Look at that good throw. End of over number 42, 223 for 5.
That's also the end of Bandile Mbata's spell for today. 1 for 54. He's really toiled away and only managing to get that 1 wicket. And it was an important wicket to break a prolific partnership for India under 19. 8 overs remain. And now the calculations come into the head of Mohammad Bulbulia to decide who will be bowling and what fields you want to set for them. New man on strike, Kanishk Chauhan, 10 from 8. Very, very placid approach to the new man.
Paul James continues. I mean, it can work. It can definitely work because with the old ball, the surface as well, the medium pacer will get assistance in that the ball will come off the surface slower and it's harder to hit for the batters. So I'm not mad at the idea of using Paul James at this stage of the innings. But from when I came into the stint, that's over number 35, it would be time to try and get Ntando Sone on here. Finish the overs off your pace bowlers, JJ Passon, Majola, and Sone. Maximize it fully. But I think Paul James hasn't been bad for the past 2 overs.
No, he's certainly been tidy. The question is, are you giving him the tools necessary for him to do the job for you? You've got a long on, long off back.
It's a good hit. It's a very good hit. Extraordinary hitting from Havansh Singh Pangalia. It was not the worst ball from Paul James, but those wrists and the placement between Passon and Manak goes for 4.
Yeah, this is where the question comes in. Should Paul James be bowling, at this stage of the game? He's overpitched there and been suitably punished. Passon, Majola, and Sone all have 3 overs left. And now, as a result, it's been an expensive 2 overs for South Africa under 19.
I feel like the extra over given to Jorik van Schalkwyk and this particular extra over, it's just a miscalculation a little bit from the South Africans. Because even every fast bowler wants to bowl their full quota of overs, and they have been good. Less than 4 runs and over for Passon and Sone. Less than 6 runs and over for Majola. They all have taken wickets. And so it becomes a thing of these guys can control the innings and they also give you a chance of getting a wicket because you always feel like you can go against the pace and hit the ball as well. I just feel like this was the time to get a Sony, a Basson, or a Majola back into the attack. Much better from Paul James. You want to bore the batters out of playing strokes if this is what you're going to be doing, bowling at the back end of the innings. But he ends. The over goes for 7 runs. There'll be a change in commentary. Salam Kota comes back to join David Midgley. It's 230 for 5. 230 for 5 after 43.
Yeah, the frustration as well when you have a medium pacer is if he's going to bowl this late in the game, you just have a look at those bowling figures. 1 for 27 for Basson. He's bowled very tidily. Majola, 1 for 40, a little bit on the expensive side. And then Ntando Soni, 1 for 27. Very lean stuff from him. But the important question that I'm going to ask Aslam as he takes a seat next to me is, when you have a medium pacer bowling so late in the game, is there an argument to say he's got to be bowling variations in terms of cutters and slow deliveries, and then the Yorkers as well, those wider Yorkers as well? Is that the plan that you should be hoping to achieve from a medium pacer late in the game?
I think the first answer would be that you generally have your death bowlers already listed at the back of your mind. So Sony's back in the attack.
Cut away, good stop there. Boy, oh boy, was it well timed, and a diving effort from Jason Rolls keeps it to a single.
He's done well there because he had to leave the field. He took a blow earlier to that left hand. So it's a very brave stop. Well done. So that's the first thing. And then Sonia, I had noticed in his previous spell, I think this is his 3rd spell now, I noticed, I made the note that he now has this ability to bowl the slower delivery, the slower bouncer, and then the cross-seam delivery. So he's got all of that. And maybe that's why the captain maybe reluctantly just held him back towards, is this Majola bowling?
Yeah, it looks like Bayanda Majola bowling rather than Ntando Soni. And lanky South Africans. Long on and, fine leg and 3rd man in the ring. Long on, long off back. Tucked away for the single.
Yeah, so if it is Majola, then he's been pretty tidy. In his 7 overs, I made a note here, 1 maiden, and he went for just 30 runs. So we said earlier on in his early spell that he bowled unbroken for 7 overs, that he didn't look like the penetrative type. And I also said that it's the type of pitch that's actually made for him. So it's possibly a choice that they made long before the match even started, that he's going to be bowling towards the tail end of the innings. I found Sony to be the interesting one, the interesting matchup, because of he's got that variety and he's not afraid to use it.
Reaching for that one and immediately signaled by umpire Shezi as wide. He'll have to bowl that one once again.
Yeah, I want to watch Majola carefully to see if he is now just maybe bowling a few different kind of deliveries, type of deliveries. Because as much as they intent on getting on with things.
Down the ground, spanks it away, 1 bounce 4. Looking to go after Majola there. And it was an effective shot.
Yeah, premeditated. When you commit yourself there, down the pitch already, he's picked up the length and went through with it. That's a very firm hit for 4 runs. He's been... crafted this innings. So now they're scoring at 5.5 with 6 overs after this remaining. So clearly, even the likes of Kanishk Chauhan, a fine all-rounder, really going to need to get after the attack. And I think they'll wait for the last 5 to really get things going. They don't want a situation where you lose 2-3 quick wickets and then you've got tail enders coming in and they're not unable to hit the boundaries. That is magnificently played. Absolutely superb the way he's just gone about his batting. This is Harvansh Singh again.
I thought the way he got into his 90s was a brilliant shot, but boy, oh boy, has he just put icing upon that cake. He knew exactly where the fielder was and like a laser carved that away. And all that Rolls could do was just feign a dive there because he just did everything required for that stroke. Wonderful shot for 4.
Yeah, you think that if he went through with the stroke, if you watch this now, then he'd be playing it somewhere in front of square, but waits, plays late, and then just opens the blade. Marvelously placed.
Third man brought into the ring. Long on sent out. And that's exactly where it's going to go. They'll get the single for it. So intelligent batting. There's no need to be reckless. You've already got the runs required, you would suspect, at the duration of the over. That's very concerning for South Africa. Under 19, Majola just reaching behind his back. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. 44 overs have been completed. 242 for 5.
So I think the scoreboards are mixing us up, and we have to apologize because what is showing on the main scoreboard there is Singh is on 83, 22 to the right-handed Chauhan, and he's the one that just unleashed that glorious stroke to the offside. So 242 for 5 is what is showing up on the main scoreboard at the stadium. They're going to need to adjust the scorecard just so that we don't get things wrong in the commentary box.
JJ Basson is brought back from the Ekurhuleni end. And he'll need some late wickets here. He got the all-important wicket earlier in the day of Vaibhav Suryavanshi. But now he's going to have to do a lot of work here to ensure that he keeps things neat and tidy. Basson deciding that third man should be in the ring. Long on, long off back. There's a deep mid-wicket, deep backward square. And a cover sweeper. Just nurdled away onto the onside for a bit of a cheeky single. They think about a second. And common sense prevails.
Yeah, I think they whispered to one another, look for number 2. And then decided one's enough.
This left-right hand combination keeps your umpires busy, getting their steps in. There's always a half moment when umpiring when you think, come on, should I really go all the way across? But at this level, it really makes a big difference. It's different when you're umpiring at lower levels in schoolboy games. It's well played. Well played. Just waited on it and a good stop there, but I think he may have parried that away to the boundary for 4. He has. And it really deserved a little bit more. Good timing on that stroke, but it goes away to the boundary for 4.
This is a classy stroke. Played it late. Didn't, the favorite word these days is overhit it. He looked for the placement. It was a great attempt there. Unfortunately, unable to gather it to stop it from going onto the boundary or into the boundary. So 247 for 5. I'm in fact keep not mention the score until we're quite sure which is the right score here.
It's full and driven away. But because of the protection down there in the deep, it's just a single.
Now, Harvansh Singh has been absolutely brilliant to watch. Well, that little dabble down the leg side, the timing was just so immaculate that even with the longest boundary, the fielder unable to get to that. And the fact that he just played it so late, it was a stand-up type of a sweep shot, if I can describe it that way. That's how well he played it.
Just opens the blade there and almost chips it out to the fielder down there in the deep for another single. So 7 runs from the first 4 balls. And the last 2 overs prior to this have been expensive, more than 10 runs apiece. And that is allowed Harvansh Singh to get to 88, almost a run a ball, 88 at the moment. And good support from Chauhan. Desperate to get a hand on it was Basson, but this was dead straight as he moves to 89 and the 250 coming up for India under 19.
Yeah, Chauhan, on the other hand, has played beautifully. 24-17. Remember the 1 boundary. There's confirmation. 250 up on the board. And I like the way he stepped things, the ball around and picked up the singles and has allowed Harvansh Singh to take the lead here in this partnership.
Oh dear, that is a dreadful delivery from JJ Basson. He'll want to quickly remove that from the mind. It is a wide, yes, but it's a waste of a delivery really, because he's not even used the surface to get the wide.
I wonder if that's just slipped out of his hand. Possibly did. But he's been impressive throughout. This is his 3rd spell.
Easy one on the onside there for the single. And the end of Basson's 8th. And India under 19's 45th. 5 overs to go. 2-5-2 for 5.
Yeah, slower ball to end that over. And not allowing Chauhan to open up his shoulders. So he picks up the single. He'll have strike now at the beginning of the 46th over. They've had a look at this big scoreboard.
And the difference, Aslam, between South Africa under 19 and India under 19 in that World Cup semi-final could arguably be down to the economy rates. India were just cheaper with their bowling, and South Africa a little bit more expensive. South Africa in that game, 244 for 7. India, too expensive. South Africa in that game, 244 for 7. India, 248 for 8. So near to one another. But the ability to keep things quiet, not only at the front and back end of the game, but in that middle period, is such a crucial skill.
So Sony is into the attack now.
That was something truly to behold. He just leaned inside it, helped it on its way, and a boundary to begin the over. Sony will be desperately disappointed with that.
Well, I tell you what, had he looked to hit it somewhere in front of square, he would have been in trouble. So this was well judged. I think he's picked up the slower ball, played it late, helped himself to a boundary.
Sony looking to go after him with a bit of short pitch bowling and he wasn't.
एक का डबल
पहले जांच फिर निवेश
निवेश पक्का नहीं
बुरा सपना देखा क्या?
लगा पैसे डूब गए।
और अगर ये सपना सच हुआ तो?
मतलब
सचित पोर्टल है ना, यहाँ शिकायत करो जिसे संबंधित संस्था तक आगे की कार्रवाई के लिए पहुंचाई जाएगी और सही कार्रवाई होगी।
आरबीआई कहता है
सचेत बनिए, सुरक्षित रहिए।
Not really a major red flag, but there's been instances where I felt he's almost been too far from the game, and particularly in the middle over. Just having a look at that game, that was the game I was mentioning. The economy rate between the two bowling lineups was the difference. Not able to get that one away. Sometimes captains can distance themselves from the game, and then there's almost a disconnect, and not able to get the result that you want. Look at that. 2 half centuries on both sides. 3 wickets apiece for Mapaka, Lees, and Limbani. Mushir Khan, 2 for 43. But it's the cheapness with which the rest of the bowlers bowled on that day.
Although Mapaka looks like his 3 for 20 was key for South Africa there.
Just butted away for that single.
But you make a good point there. I mean, it's so much about the bowling disciplines, especially if you're defending a score. Then you know that there's a target that the opposition are betting for, and then you need to know how to ring your bowlers around and what the type of disciplines that they need to implement. And when you're bowling first, of course, clearly you need to be as tight as possible. It's not always going to happen. They're human.
In the air, it was miscued, that stroke. So nearly could have been a leading edge straight down Swanee's throat, but it means another single and 7 from the over with 1 to come.
I'm keen to get a closer look at his grip, because I have a feeling these are all cross-seam deliveries, and that's why on that particular stroke, Chauhan didn't look in control. The previous one, he was happy to just dab it over the top of the bowler on his follow-through.
In the air, nearly taken. What a dive it was there from JJ Basson. It seemed to hang in the air for an age and a half. And one of the taller players on the field for South Africa just needed something more. Hopefully he's not done himself a misdeed. But as you said, the slower delivery is paying dividends.
And that's why it's gone in that direction. It's a good attempt. Dropped on 90. First real blemish in the innings, I reckon. He was looking to push it into the gap on the offside in front of square. It's taken the thick outside edge. It's looped to the fielder there. And he had to make some ground. Unfortunately, it's gone to ground. That's the end of the 46th. 260 for 5.
Now Basson has to make remedy with that drop catch, deciding that he wants a fine leg out, and the deep point is trundling in, or strolling rather, and there's almost no protection on the onside. And I wonder, with him coming over the wicket, as mid-wicket now is been selected to come in, square leg is going very square, so a lot of field changes here. Deep cover fielder, very offside field. Will he bowl it full and wide? He doesn't. It's flicked away down to fine leg. And so they'll get 1. And intelligent running means that they get the second. Smart cricket there from those two.
Yeah, they picked up the fact that Sodhi was ambling towards the ball. And the Harvansh Singh on the turn saw it, took the risk. I think they're also aware of the fact that it's a long boundary. So he completes 2 runs, takes him to 93.
Short spanked in the air is the chance for a catch. What a catch! What an unbelievable bit of fielding. After a number of drop catches, South Africa have their man. Harvansh Singh gone for 93. And a vital breakthrough means that South Africa have another wicket. What a catch by Jason Rolls.
Absolutely stunning. I felt for a moment this is just going to elude him, but he's timed this to absolute perfection. And then the dive, an eye on the ball, both hands clutching onto that. He's pulled off an absolute blinder. And it needed something special to end what has been an impressive innings. But what a catch. He's been a fine fielder throughout his junior days as well. He's known for being very quick. And here again, he's proved that fact that he's amongst the top fielders in the under-19 team. 262 for 6. And Singh's score of 93. I'm just looking to see how many deliveries was it. They've taken it off the screen.
Yeah, that 93 coming from 95 deliveries, 7 4s and 2 6s at a strike rate of 98. So nearly a run a ball. But JJ Basson, having dropped the catch in the previous over, said, I'd rather be bowling. You guys catch these opportunities. And what a catch it was from Jason Rolls. He has a tape on his right hand because he had a bit of a knock earlier. But that is a catch he will not soon forget.
Well, that's a quality catch. That's commitment all the way through. Superb to watch. Great wicket to get from a South African point of view. They've removed the danger men. Mohammed Inan has now come in to join Kanix Chauhan with just 4 overs and 4 balls remaining in the innings.
Driven out square onto the offside. 1 run for him.
So he's noted down as the leg spinner. So South Africa clearly would be looking for 1 or 2 here to just make sure that they don't get anywhere near 280 at the least.
No mug with the bat is Inan. Scored 105 from 74 deliveries in the under-19 tri-series.
It's a proper all-rounder.
Just dabs this away. And nobody seemed like they wanted to go and collect the ball. And then suddenly, 3 of them immediately pounced upon it. 4 runs from the over and a wicket. Yeah, you mentioned that he is a proper all-rounder. He also picked up 6 for 79 in the second innings in that youth test against Australia. Driven wonderfully. There is protection out there in the deep, but just looked so comfortable in playing that stroke. Embarrassment of riches. I think that's where you describe the Indian playing stocks.
Yes. I think the selectors have an equal amount of difficulty in picking the under-19 team as they have these days with the national side for the Indians.
Short. Pulled away. Onto the onside. Will he get under it? Yes, he does. A comfortable catch in the end. It hung in the air for an eternity. And a safe pair of hands means that South Africa get another wicket. It's 2 in the over from Basson. And he finishes his 9th over with 2 wickets and 5 runs. Boy, oh boy, was that an expensive one for India. 2 crucial wickets, 265 for 7.
Yeah, key period of play in this last 6-7 overs for the South Africans, picking up wickets inspired by that wonderful diving catch. And this one is so well judged. It is a pressure catch. It's on the boundary. You're not too sure how far the boundary is from you. But number 17, and that is Adnan Lahadin, takes a superb catch. So South Africa fighting back here in the back end of the Indian innings. And that sees the end of a very impressive innings from Chauhan, 32 of just 23 balls with 3 fours.
Number 63 comes to the crease for India. Kilan Patel, who goes to the Sri Ved School. Took 4 wickets in the 3rd Youth ODI against Australia. And represents Gujarat in domestic under-19 cricket. I think the key here as Ntando Soni begins his 9th over, the key for the Indian selectors, we were speaking about it, is that they've picked teams that represent a large portion of the Indian subcontinent and not necessarily going to one sort of region or type of player. Good variety in this squad. Soni from the eastern end. Bunted over the head of the umpire. Means that they'll get 1 for it.
Yeah, I think in the old days it used to be a problem. There used to be dominant states, as we may have seen in South Africa and Australia and other places as well. But now that the game has spread its footprint so far and wide in India, and the amount of competitions, the number of competitions that happen, That's why you get these fellows that come from, as I always like to describe it, as indistinct areas. You'd least expect players to arrive from here. I mean, Mohammed Shami is one of those examples as well.
There's a grunt there as that one is punted away just over the head of the fielder there. Desperately tried to get his hands around that one. Not able to get the result that the South Africans would want. And I wonder if we're going to go off. Looks like the umpire has said, well, there's a concern of lightning in the area, and frustratingly for viewers and for broadcasters alike, it looks as though we're going to have an interruption in play as the players come off for presumably what is lightning. It's always frustrating when that happens, especially when you'll see on your screen there, it looks quite clear. There's, yes, a little bit of cloud coverage, but really it doesn't look too ominous. The problem is behind our viewpoint in the commentary box. That is where that is some concern. You'll see to the top left-hand corner of the screen, it's very dark there, and lightning on the high veld is a genuine concern.
And that's the area where the rain comes from, at this particular ground. I remember the World Cup in 2003, Bangladesh were playing here, and there was also a huge delay because of that. Those days, there wasn't too much of the lightning rule in place, but certainly here now, especially in South Africa on the high veld, it's implemented with very strictly. So there's the update for now, 268 for 7 into the 48th over, and Havansh Singh, who looked well set for a century, was dropped on 90. Fortunately, it didn't cost the South Africans too much. A great catch resulted in his dismissal, giving Basson his second wicket, and then he picked up the third one when he removed Kanish Chauhan, who for 32. They were certainly in the middle of a very good partnership along with Ambrish and Singh. They put on the most important partnership for that fifth wicket, 137, and then Trivedi at the top of order contributed 21. As you can see there, the key bowler, the left arm seamer J.J. Basson, picked up wicket in his first session, and also in this last closing session, as far as he's concerned. In fact, he picked up the very important wicket in his first spell when Vaibhav Suryavanshi was caught behind. So he's taken the important wickets, and that's where we are right now. The umpires have taken the players off the field, and I think they also indicated to the ground staff that at the very minimum they should just cover the playing surface with a tarpaulin. That's the state of no play at the moment in Benoni.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Aslam. We'll be back with you as soon as we know a little bit more about where this game will be heading. So don't go all that far, because we could get on to the park fairly shortly.